Okay, so I found the problem. So these wires are the power wires, and I followed them down, and they were tucked behind the battery, but they were not connected to the battery. So that would be why the speakers don't have power. Okay, I can tell you right now, this was not a professional job, because that right there, it had tape around it instead of a connector. But now we have power. So I'm gonna see if it'll connect. Okay, we're connected. Now let me show you something here. This is actually volume. It's actually really good, but what I recommend you doing is turning your phone down, the volume on your phone, and then turning that all the way up so that you can control the volume from your phone. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to add some connectors to these so that, you know, I mean, they're not going to look like these plastic ones, but it's going to be better than that bullshit. That way it's a little bit cleaner, and then I'll tuck all this back in there. They had this. Your Bluetooth was hiding in here. And that's, yeah, we'll get this all cleaned up and tucked back in. Okay, so we took where it was just twisted together and taped and just put an actual permanent connection there. And it has like the heat thing, so you warm it up and it seals around it, protect it from moisture. So the only one I did not do was this one right here. I'll leave that how it is, but this was a nest pretty much, all like the way it was wrapped and everything. So fixed it, put a new fuse in there because the other fuse, it didn't blow, but it was like really corroded. So when I went to turn it on, it yeah, didn't work. So put a new fuse in there, and boom, it works. So we're gonna get this all tucked back in there and put away and move on. Okay, so we got it all tucked away back in here. If it's not working, if you get on one day and it's not working, you just take this cover off. It uses the key. Take the cover off and look and see if that is lit up. It should be like that. If that is not lit up, then you're gonna check the fuse, which you'll have to unhook this and pull all of this out, and there's a little fuse there, and you just replace it with I put a 7.5 in there because that's really all it needs. The most I would go up is 10. They had a 25 in there, which means if something went wrong, it's not gonna pop and you could actually fry your system. I feel like that was too high for what this is, so I put a 7.5. So if it pops, like, you won't have power to it, you won't have music when you turn it on, and that just means you need to put a new fuse in. Alright, so we got the carbs out. So this is what we're working with. There's definitely varnish in there. Tell just by the color on the thing. Like that right there. Alright, so we're gonna open these up and take a look and clean them off and clean them out. See what we're dealing with. Okay, so I opened up the first one where your float is. Alright, first look in here. That's varnish from old fuel, from it sitting. But I'm going to take the float out as well and make sure there's no pinholes or leaks in it. You got some jets in here. I'll pull them out and make sure that there's no clogs in them. And I'll get everything cleaned out real good of the varnish. But yeah, like all this, it's all gunky. You don't want that. You shouldn't have any of that in there. But that's from when a bike sits and fuel goes bad. So, which usually, I think it's like 6 months unless you put some special additive in it. So, I don't know. But, that's where we're at. So, I'll take a look at all that and then put it back together, and then I'll look at this side. Do one side at a time. Okay, so luckily I actually had a Yamaha kit that matches up. So this piece here I was also able to replace, and it's where that piece fits in. These are brand new, and that'll make the float bounce. And this is what that gold piece looks like. The one I took out. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. But it's all gunked up, and I had some brand new extra ones, so we are in luck. Okay, so with this jet, it's removable with an 8mm. I checked that. Everything was fine on it. This one, however, had just a tiny pinhole. Screws in the top of it. And see that? All that I could see was barely a pinhole. So I cleaned that out real good. And we'll screw that back in. Okay, so we got this side back together. I'm still going to pull out the screws and clean out there, but move to this side. In order to get this side off, you have to take this off. And it screws in right there. You just keep unscrewing. This is for your idle, to control your idle. So you're just going to keep unscrewing until it comes out. And it has the little spring there. Be good to clean that up. There we go. Couldn't focus on it. Clean it up real good before putting it back on. But then this should just come right off. So not as much in this one, but we're gonna let it clean this out real good too. Okay, on this side, this one was mostly fine when I took it off. I sprayed it out anyway. This one, however, needs to be cleaned out real good. Let's see if I can. Like, it's clogged. So, we're going to clean that out. And then we're going to take this off with 8mm. And then we still have that one down there to check. Okay, so got that one cleaned out, put back. Pulled this one out. Hold it up to the light. Little teeny side holes there. Those are good. However, when I go to blow through it to see if air can go through, nothing goes through. So somewhere in there it's clogged. It don't look like it from there, but even holding up to the light, I can't seem to see any light, but I can't blow through it either. So pretty sure this one's clogged. So I'm going to see if I can get it cleaned out. Okay, so this is the other side. And you've got your diaphragm spring in there. But I started to spray before I thought, oh yeah, I should record. That's how dirty it was in there. You can see where the one spot I sprayed. And then, of course, that goes down into here. So we're just going to get this cleaned out really good. The spring looks good. I inspected the diaphragm. It looks good. You want to make sure you unfold it so that you can see, make sure nothing's cracked. But we'll spray this off really good. It just looks really dirty from the bad fuel that was once in it. And then of course we'll check our spring and stuff inside there. But that's where we're at. So we're going to do this one, finish spraying that out, and then do this side. Alright, see where the needle sticks down in there? You want to make sure your diaphragm becomes your seal on this one. And then make sure your spring is in the middle here. And when you put your cap on, it has a spot for the spring to hold it into place. But that's how it goes. And make sure you don't lose this little O-ring right there by my finger. Here's the other side. See how black that is? I mean, yeah. This bike definitely sat for a little bit. So, again, don't lose that little O-ring there. Spray all this out. Inspect your diaphragm, your spring, all that, and clean all this grut off and put it all back together. Yeah, that's pretty much where we're at now. I'll get this side done and get back together, and then throw it back on the bike and see how we did. Okay, we are back together. Now, granted, let me point out the fact I did not do a rebuild kit. Replaced a few things that I had pieces for that I saw were an issue. Like fuel screw, and the internal, one of the jets, I believe it was. And then, of course, the thingies for the float. There are, if you're doing a full, like, rebuild, you will have to split these. In the past, other carbs I've had on other bikes didn't have to, but I'm trying to see where I could show you. Okay. So, trying to see, remember where it was, because there's another section that comes off. I think it's there. Alright. Right there. See the black part underneath the gold? Like, you have to remove that brass gold piece to get to the black part. And then the other one is on this side, I believe. Let's see. What was there? Oh, and then there's a part in here that comes off. You know, if I was being really, I'm gonna spray in there some more and get all the ick out. But it's a pain in the ass to split these apart and put them back. Well, splitting them apart is easy. Putting them back together, it's like playing a Rubik's Cube. So I don't do that unless I absolutely have to. So we're gonna see how this goes. But all I would have been able to do with the other sections is spray it out more. But I'm gonna hit up inside there, in between, real quick with some carb cleaner, and then we're ready to slap these babies back on the bike. Okay, so we got the carbs back on, and they fit in, and tighten those clamps, which are connected to your engine, and then you put the boot on each side and tighten these clamps, but don't tighten them until you get the bottom part of your air box in place, so that way you can turn them, adjust them to, you know, where they actually line up correctly, and then tighten those clamps down. And then you take the top of your air box and you're gonna put all these screws in, and then the bolts that went there, and then you're back together. The only thing left on this side anyway would be dog hair on it. This cover, which I'm gonna clean up and everything. Those bolts were stripped, so one, I managed to tap into it and with a different type of head and get it to come undone. The other one we had to drill out, so I'll be replacing these with a different style when I go to put this on. But I'm gonna clean this up. It's got oil all over it. And then on the other side, the air filter needs to get put back on, which is over there, and I will show that in a minute.